Welcome back to the program. Let's bring in the member for Menzies, Liberal MP Keith Wallahan. Parliament back next week. Keith Wallahan, would you expect the focus to shift back to cost of living, which is the issue that's so pertinent for many in Melbourne, but right around Australia right now?
It absolutely is the number one topic, whether we're talking to people on the phones, at listening posts or door knocking. You know that people are really struggling. And when you go to a supermarket, you can feel it. You see often children tugging at their parents, asking for things that have been told to be put back. And I think people are hurting more than we realise. And there is a tendency when you're in Canberra to feel disconnected from Australia. But even in Canberra, you're seeing people really hurting there as well.
So isn't that what the Treasurer was trying to do? And also his mentor, Swan, in his comments today, where they're basically saying that the Treasurer said that rates are smashing families and households and the economy. Similar message from Swan today.
Well, inflation is smashing families, and I think the Treasurer is missing in action. He's the one who can do the most about it. And in the absence of him doing something about it, the Reserve Bank has to step in. And we feel like we're repeating this again and again. We just want the Treasurer to do his job. It's like he's the dude out of The Big Lebowski who says everything's not his problem. We want someone serious who will solve this problem for Australians, because it can't just be left to the Reserve Bank. But otherwise, if the Treasurer and the government doesn't do its job, they will, and it will hurt a narrower section of the community.
Isn't it fair to say that the government, there was some support in terms of energy rebates and so on, but there's only so much a government can do right now because of those inflationary pressures?
Well, there's two sides to this. There's the side that the government has focused on, which is treating the symptoms and not the cause. And so they will give $1 out for a particular rebate or a subsidy, but ignore that the costs of those are going up by 10. So it's equivalent of turning the radio up when you hear there's a noise coming from your car engine. It might make you feel good in the short term because you can't hear the noise, but it doesn't take away from the fact that there's a serious problem that you have to solve. So that takes us back to the most important role, which is government spending. Government spending is driving up inflation, and government spending in the last 2.5 years is out of control. And so we need this government to tighten its belt, because if the government doesn't tighten its belt, then they're forcing families to tighten theirs, and they don't have much room to do that.
The redistribution's been confirmed. The seat of Higgins is gone in Melbourne. What are the implications for you in Menzies? Are you confident you can retain that? In fact, the Liberals can start pushing back against what's been a high tide for Labor federally.
The first thing I'd say is that I think one of the features of our democracy is an independent electoral commission, and key to that is this decision on the boundaries. If you go to other democracies, they have the strangest, weird boundaries because it's political. Ours isn't political, and we celebrate that. So the boundaries are now finalised, so we will make ourselves known to the new areas. And for me, I will push slightly closer to the city, and I welcome that, because Melbourne will be the largest city in Australia, and there is no pathway to government without having more seats in metropolitan Melbourne. So I am as close as the Liberals get to the city, and it's still a fair distance. So I welcome the challenge to earn the trust of the people of Melbourne. And the people of Melbourne are hurting right now. They're hurting right now federally for cost of living, but they're also hurting from the state government's crippling taxes, and also the fact that crime is out of control in metropolitan Melbourne.
It's a story we're hearing around the country, from Darwin to Brisbane to Melbourne. Thanks, Keith Wallahan. Talk to you soon.